Been making videos on this channel for about 3 years now and realized I'd never shown you what's in my camera bag. So that's what today's video is all about. Now I should explain that majority of my work is property photography, certainly about 80% of it. Rest of it is commercial work for companies and businesses who need photographs for things like their social media or website. So this is my #1 camera. It's the Sony a7R5. So I use this predominantly for my main clients, but also for my personal projects. What I love about this is the dynamic range on it is fabulous. It has some great little features, like its focus tracking is exceptional. I also love this flip out screen because you can flip it in all sorts of directions. And if you're doing landscape shots as well, you can flip it down like that, look at it that way. So that makes it really versatile, and it's great for some of my property work where I'm crouched in a corner. I can flip this out and get it at any angle so that I can still see the photo I'm taking. Now on this, I've got mounted my 24-70. So this is the Sony Zeiss version. I think they call them the Sonar T. It's an f4 lens, 24-70 as I say. In all honesty, it's something I would like to upgrade. I've had this for quite a lot of years now. Really like an f2.8 version, but I'd like a bit bigger range, something that went up from 24 to 105, 135, 150, something like that. I know Samyang do one, Sony do one, but it's only f4. So I might stick around and see what I can afford and what comes up with the right sort of range to suit me. So my second and probably biggest workhorse camera is my Sony a7 III. I've currently got on it a 55mm Sony Zeiss lens. That's the f1.8 lens. Really love this. It's a great little nifty 50 lens. Now the reason I love the Sony a7 III is file size is reasonable, and that's one of my clients who I do probably most of my work for actually asked me to send them the raw files. So by not having a massive file, it speeds up a little bit of my process in the evening when I've got to send them all the pictures I've taken in a day. Other than that, has a great dynamic range, produces great image quality. I'm really pleased with it. I will probably upgrade it maybe later this year because I've had this I bought this just in COVID time, so I've had this getting on for 3 years now. So I'll probably upgrade it to a Sony a7 IV. That's good enough level for most of my commercial work. So that's my main camera. On the outside of the bag, you can see my tripod. It is a 3-legged thing, Punks Brian. It's folded up the wrong way. I'll show you, fold the legs out the other way normally. The reason I like this, for the price, I think it cost me less than £200. It's a carbon fiber tripod, so it's nice to carry around. I use L brackets to go on the ball head. Usually have them mounted on my cameras. Haven't got them mounted on today because I've been using the cameras for filming off a different tripod, but that's what they look like. So let's have a look inside the bag and see what else I carry. I have a pouch with some filters in. I tend to use adapter rings, and then I've only got to buy a filter for one lens, and then I use these when I want to use that filter on a different lens. So I buy my filters for the biggest lens I've got, which is 77mm. Then I use the step down rings for any other lens. Now the filters I carry, let's see what we've got in here. So we have actually I've got two together. So I have a 10-stop ND filter, and I've also got mounted on a 6-stop ND filter, and these are Hoyer filters. To be honest, I will probably upgrade my filter system maybe later in the year. Other thing I carry is a circular polarizer, and finally, the one other thing I like to carry is a Pro Mist filter, which you may not have come across before, but it creates a slightly soft effect to your filters. It's great for when you're doing really long exposures. Let's work our way through the rest of the bag. Blower brush for cleaning. I have a Sony 35mm lens. It's the f2.8. This is a pretty old one. I bought this probably 7 or 8 years ago. Needs upgrading at some point, but still does a great job. Next we have a Sony 16-35 f4 lens. This is one of my main property photography lenses. Also use it for landscapes. exteriors of buildings. The reason I have this lens is it does allow me to use filters on it, also produces nice image quality. Doesn't need to be f2.8 because I'm only shooting static subjects with that. Next one in the bag is the Sony, this is really a travel lens, a 24 to 240. The reason I carry this is because it's nice and lightweight and so versatile, having such a big range. I often use it, I photograph a lot of holiday lets. Sometimes there's some great views of the landscape from the holiday let. I'm not photographing them at the right time of day to get a special landscape shot, but people do want to see the views. This is a good enough lens for that, even though it's only sort of f3.5 to 6.3 depending on the focal length at the time, but the quality is really good enough for all my clients without having to go to my other lens, which I'll show you my other telephoto in a minute. So let's move on to the workhorse lens. This is the one I use the most. This is my 12 to 24 f4 G Master lens, absolutely superb for my property shots. Having that extra above the 16mm is really useful when you get into some tight corners, especially if I'm photographing something like an ensuite bathroom and I just want that bit of extra width to be able to get the whole bathroom in or whatever. And on this side, so I've got a camera strap, I've got some microfiber cloths, and also a flash gun. So that's my flash gun. It's the Godox V1S, and I use that for some of my property work where I'm just doing a single shot, want to brighten up the room, fill in the shadows, that sort of thing. And it's completely compatible with the Sony cameras. I can use it TTL, which is really great. So nice product from me there. So I've got things like lens and filter cleaning brushes. I've got a set of memory cards, L bracket, spare batteries, sensor cleaners, sensor cleaning fluid, spare propellers for my drone. So all that kind of stuff, a few tools, multi-purpose pen knife, all the kind of odds and sods that I find useful. Now there are 2 or 3 other things that I don't always have with me, but interesting perhaps for you to see. Well, the first one is a drone. So this is what I use. It's the DJI Air 2S. I bought that because I really like the image quality from it and the image size. And I'm mainly doing stills of things like property from that and occasional landscape views. The other things I use is also this lens, which is the lens hood off, 90mm f2.8 macro, absolutely fabulous for things like portraits and any macro shots. So sometimes I'm doing product photography or food photography, and this is a really great lens for that. Exceptional image quality from that, very pleased with it. And then there is this bit of a beast, the FE 2.8, so it's the 70 to 200 lens, and it is a really great lens. It's pretty fast to focus. This is probably one of the older versions. I bought this probably about 4 years ago, so I know they've upgraded it at least once since, if not twice. But I would also use this when I'm doing some portrait shots, but also any telephoto work where I need really good image quality and I want to do a step up from my 24 to 240. Main drawback to it is it's a bit heavy, so you really got to use it on a tripod or a monopod, or where you can stabilize your arm or something. But for me, an essential part of my armory. It's not something I'm going to upgrade just to gain any weight, but it is something I occasionally like to use, but don't want to carry it with me every day. So I hope that's given you a little bit of insight into what it's like for me to be a professional photographer. As I say, I specialise mainly in property, so my kit bag is geared to that. Hope you found that useful. If you have any questions about photography or about how to get the best out of your Sony cameras, then do let me know in the comments below. In the meantime, I hope you're going out and having some fun with your camera, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.